The Backyard Ultramarathon is a unique format of running race in that it's not actually a race at all. The rules go like this. Every hour, a group of runners must run a set distance. It doesn't matter how fast or how slow it takes to complete this distance. All that matters is that they finish within that hour, and they're at the start line again to go the same distance at the beginning of the next hour. The brutality of this run is that this just continues until there's only one runner left. That runner is the sole finisher. Everyone else DNFs. Traditionally, backyard ultras are 4.17 miles in length. This distance is set so that if any runner finishes 24 hours worth of yards, so 24 of these 4.17 mile lengths, that runner reaches 100 miles. The Mount Ascutney Vertical Backyard puts a slight twist on this traditional backyard ultra format. Instead of being distance-based, this backyard ultra is centered around elevation. Every yard, competitors have to ascend and descend 1,209 feet of elevation. This number is such that if someone is able to complete 24 hours or yards, that means they have climbed the equivalent elevation gain from sea level to the top of Mount Everest. Now this is a pretty insane feat to grapple with. Summiting Mount Everest usually takes weeks, if not months, and so to do it in a day, and more than that, to descend the entire elevation from sea level to Mount Everest as well, is practically unheard of, and honestly, just kind of crazy. Realizing how cool this feat would be to achieve, I signed up for this race to see how far I could take it. This is the absolute mess of stuff that I'm thinking about bringing to the race. It's the night before the race, and I'm going to get out some goals and predictions. Originally, I had the goal of getting 24 hours, but I think last week when I tested out the course, I realized that was a pretty lofty goal. I'm just going to try my best out there. I really don't know what it's going to be like. I would love to at least get 12 hours in. That's right. Unfortunately for me, my dreams to make it 24 hours were quickly dashed when I got to do some course reconnaissance the week before the event. Holy shit, this is steep. Damn, this must be 35% grade.
Yeah, probably pretty close.
Fuck. As I quickly found out, Mount Ascutney is steep. There are sections that are well over 30% vertical grade, which, if you've never faced 30% vertical grade, you can basically imagine a hill that slants straight up. After I tried out this course the week before, I immediately recalculated my goals. I just honestly did not know whether 24 hours of this brutal uphill and downhill would be possible for me. But the week quickly flew by, and here I was, at the start of my first backyard ultra. The main thing that I realized from checking out the course the week before, besides just how absurdly steep some of this mountain was that the use of poles would be crucial for the entirety of my race. I'd never used poles while running before, but luckily had the foresight to get some for just this race. Elijah, how you feeling? Lap 2?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? Alright. Alright, it's been 2 laps so far. Strong start. We'll see how the day goes.
Up, up, up.
As the first couple of yards passed, I was actually feeling quite good. This was my first backyard ultra, and just a couple of hours in, I knew I liked the format. Unlike a typical running race, you get to see the same runners around you for a lot of the time, since you'd be starting each lap together, and so it was really nice to get to meet and have conversations with a lot of cool, like-minded people who were just sharing the mountain with me. Similarly, vibes were very social in between laps as well, when runners who finished their laps with time to spare would be able to catch up with each other while eating a lot of food and preparing for the next yard. Already in my first couple of yards, I had met a bunch of runners from all different backgrounds, a range of people both local and not so local, people with very long and storied running backgrounds to people just starting out, but everyone with the same idea of spending some quality time today on Mount Ascutney. Like a machine! Nice job, Tom. Now, another feature of this race that I haven't mentioned yet is that there are actually 2 options to complete your yard. You can either go 1,203 feet up this mountain and then back down, or you can choose to do a shorter loop 3 times, each 401 feet of elevation, totaling up to 1,203 feet once you have finished all 3 loops. Both options come with their upsides and downsides, But I chose the 3-loop option for each yard with the thought that this would give my muscles more ability to switch from uphill and then downhill and then uphill again, protecting them from a longer continuous up or down.
Going down for longer stretches of time, I think will add up. And so getting the break for like short up, down, can distribute the force on my muscles better.
However, this option came with its own cost. The steepest section of the uphill is located in the uphill section of the short loop, which I would have to repeat 3 times. Anyone doing the longer loops would only have to deal with that super steep section once per yard. To compensate for this, I treated this section very conservatively, with heavy use of my poles, thus trying to offset the energy required of my legs by exchanging that with the energy input from my upper body.
Just inching myself slowly up. That is the motto for this course, inching myself up.
5 or 6 loops in though, I was already starting to feel it. Hard. Not only were my quads and hamstrings already getting tired from the ups and downs, but my upper body was too. My hands in particular were having more trouble gripping down on my poles. Some people were starting to drop out now at this point, and so a little part of me thought it'd be okay to drop out now too. I wouldn't be the first. 6 loops in, we had already equaled the elevation gain from sea level to Mount Washington, the highest peak in New Hampshire, famous for being one of the more dangerous mountains to summit in the world. My eyes, though, were set on the next milestone, trying to make it 12 hours, when I would equal the ascent from sea level to the height of Mount Whitney, the tallest mountain in the contiguous US. This wouldn't be easy though, not just because I was feeling tired already, but also because it was late November in the northeast US, which meant that it gets dark fast.
Alright, 8th lap down. It is getting dark now outside, so I gotta find my headlamp. Feeling kind of rough now, getting into the thick of it. It's gonna be a long night. Hopefully I stick through the night, we'll see.
The race had started at 9 a.m., so by the 8th hour it was already getting darker and colder. At the start of the 9th hour, it already felt like nighttime.
4 more minutes.
Unfortunately, around the 10th or 11th hour, I started to feel a twinge in my right leg. Right below where my IT band is, in either this muscle or tendon that I think is connected to my calf, I just started to feel something get really strained whenever I began to run downhill. So I started to walk the downhills. But this gave me much less time in the in-between lap to rest up and get food in.
I'll take a potato.
Yeah, take one for
Thank you so much.
From here.
You're looking adequate.
Before, I'd been comfortably finishing my yard in around 45 minutes, but now with walking the downhills, I was cutting it much closer in about 52-ish minutes. I knew I could stick it out until the 12th lap, but I felt at this point like this was pretty much going to be the end.
Alright. That was lap 10, yard 10. I'm feeling it in my right IT. It's going to be rough going from here on out. I'm going to try to stick it out, but yeah, not looking great. Oof. Big oof.
But I stuck it out for another lap, and then 2, made it past the height of Mount Whitney, and around lap 14, I started to change my gait and the way that I would put my right foot down. Feeling really rough right now. Not a lot of room in my legs to go further. Too much, I think. But I'm just gonna keep on slogging it out. Whew! I also started to take an extraordinary amount of sugar and caffeine in the form of gels. Honestly, it was kind of absurd because I was taking like 4 gels an hour for maybe 3 or 4 hours. This did come back to bite me though, because the sugar and caffeine crash was real. I had unwittingly consumed all of the gels I brought with me, a bag so large I thought it was way overkill coming into the race. And so I tried to get as much other foods as I could in, but this was also beginning to be very hard to do as well. Not only that, at this point around laps 13 through 18, it just felt like we've been in an eternity of darkness. Luckily, the cold wasn't too much of an issue because I would get warm quickly on the climb that started each yard, but the darkness was definitely starting to eat at my morale.
All right, I am 17 or 18 laps in. It's 2 a.m. It's hard to get food down now. There's still a lot of people left. In the pan for a second, just show.
There just seemed like there was too much left, too. It had felt absolutely monumental to get to 12 laps, to get to the height of Mount Whitney. To do that again, it just felt like too much to do.
Oh man, this is gonna be rough. If I want to make 24, it's gonna be rough. I'm just trying to stuff food in, get a little bit of rest in between laps. But it's not easy to do that.
But I dragged on, doing short loop after short loop after short loop, until finally, that little peak of sunlight started to show in the sky. The light gave me life, and pretty soon I was there. Absolutely exhausted, running off of zero sleep in the last 23 hours, I made it to my 24th yard. 19 other competitors of the original 74 were right there with me.
Woo! Let's go! Thank you. I'm gonna do one more.
Yeah. Can we wait a second? Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Amazing work.
After finishing this 24th yard, fully equaling the ascent from sea level to the height of Mount Everest, I decided to do one last yard, my 25th.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woo! Penultimate loop. I've done 74 of these shorty loops. Just one more.
Yeah, William.
Hell yeah.
And I'm done.
Good job.
Way to go.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
William, big smiles here, man. Yeah,
Woo!
congrats.
And that was it from me. After I called it quits on that yard, the final 10 were the last ones left.
2, 1.
That's the last 10.
Wow, beast.
God damn.
The story doesn't quite end here, though. Besides my kind of hilarious attempts at going down and upstairs directly after climbing and descending in Everest's worth of elevation, something incredible was still happening on Mount Ascutney. The race had started Saturday morning, so by the time it was Sunday night, after I had gotten a good, nice, long recovery nap after the race, I was surprised to see that there were still 4 competitors left: Seth, Amber, Connor, and Bill. Naively, I thought no way the race would continue into a second night. This course was just too brutal. Boy, was I mistaken. Monday morning rolls around, and I am shocked to see these same 4 competitors still dueling it out. They've gone up and down for 2 whole days with no real rest. Midday Monday, Seth finally drops. But Amber and Bill and Connor are still going at it, and I am absolutely enthralled, glued to my screen, refreshing Instagram like every 30 seconds to see them continue to face off each other every hour on the hour, even as Monday evening hits. When I check to see that they're still at it as the last thing I do before going to bed Monday, let me tell you, I am absolutely just befuddled at how this is humanly possible. Early Tuesday morning, Amber finally drops as well. Truly, just an insane performance to have gone 64 hours, almost 3 whole days of basically non-stop up and down one of the steepest inclines that a lot of people may have ever encountered in their lives. And then there's Bill Tidd and Connor Brown, who by midday Tuesday, I'm beginning to think can just do this, ascend and descend 1,203 feet of elevation for the rest of their lives. They've both done this for 3 whole days now. And get this, Bill Tidd is 63 years young. Truly just an immense, immense show of character and willpower for Bill and Connor. In 3 days, they've ascended the elevation from sea level to Mount Everest 3 entire times. This statistic is just absolutely bonkers. Surely this is a record somewhere, or perhaps it's just so outlandish there's really no category for it. To cover that elevation gain by one's own 2 feet is completely unheard of in that time frame, and if someone else knows differently, please let me know in the comments. Bill finally taps out on his 89th yard, but not because he can't keep going, it's because he gets lost in the incredibly dense fog after a rainstorm and can't make it back in time to finish his yard. Connor Brown, thus, upon his completion of his 90th yard, becomes the sole finisher of the first ever Mount Ascutney Vertical Backyard. This is the most impressive feat of human endurance I've had the privilege of witnessing play out in my lifetime. Thank you Eli and Justin of Northeast Trail Adventures for putting on this race. It was one to be remembered. And thanks of course to Connor and Bill for showing us the absolutely mind-bending, extraordinary things that humans are capable of.